I told her, I said, I like to push those down, but I don't know how.
All good? Go ahead and call this meeting to order. At this time, the clerk will do a roll call.
Mayor Rushiers,
Present.
Ray Hill,
Present.
Bobby Sutton, present. Darren Dial,
Present.
Gabby Hodgkins,
Present.
All right. First item on your agenda, we have a workman's comp invoice for a total of $1,430. There was an audit performed on the city for a work comp, and that was the additional premium that we're required to pay. Any of the board members like to speak on that? Alderman Dill?
Yeah, I just want to let the public know this is pretty standard for workers' comp insurance. Whenever a company carries workers' comp insurance, the premium, when you start off with a policy, the premium for that year is based on estimated payroll. So at the end of that policy period, there's always an audit done to see if you owe more, if you paid your employees more that year, if you had more payroll, or sometimes you get a refund if you paid less that year than your estimated payroll. Just so happened that this year, our policy period started April 1st of 2020, and the policy period ends April 1st, 2021. So the audit was performed in June of this year, and for that policy period, we paid more in payroll than what was estimated to begin with, so that's why the additional premium is pretty standard in the insurance world. So nothing uncommon.
Any other board members have any questions, comments, concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we pay the work comp invoice for the amount of $1,430.
Got a motion on the floor?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Next item on the agenda is, we need to schedule, first of all, we need to schedule a tax hearing. This will be, it's a standard, has to be done every year for the assessed tax value for New Madrid County. So we need to establish a date to set up when we can have the tax hearing. Once we get that date set for us to have the tax hearing, then I'll ask for a motion to advertise in the Standard Democrat. But we need a Monday by 3 to advertise, or to make Wednesday's paper of next week.
And this can be day or night, or, I mean.
It needs to be, it needs to be for the public to attend. Typically the ones that I've been to last 5 minutes. So what's a good day? How's Monday, August the 30th for the board?
When did you say it had to be in the paper?
It needs to be average. We need to get it, I noticed in, by 3 o'clock on the 23rd, with the standard, and then it will run in the Wednesday, August 25th paper. And then we can hold the tax hearing either on that Thursday, the 26th, or Monday the 30th, or Tuesday the 31st. Whatever works best for Monday the 30th. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to schedule the tax hearing for Monday, August the 30th at 6:30 p.m.
I'll make a motion that we schedule a date for tax hearing for August the 30th, 2021, 6:30 p.m.
Got a motion on the floor?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? Okay. Now I'll entertain a motion to advertise in the Standard Democrat for a public hearing. It's going to be held on Monday, August the 30th at 6:30 p.m.
I make a motion that we advertise the tax hearing that is set for Monday, August the 30th at 6:30 with the Standard Democrat.
Got a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, next item on the agenda is, at this time, I'd like to appoint Colin Cecil as the code enforcement officer. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Colin Cecil for code enforcement officer of Morehouse, Missouri.
Got a motion on the floor. Motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, Mr. Collins, at this time, would you like to come in and swear to oath?
Do we have to do the ordinance?
We'll do the ordinance after the swearing.
Will you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Colin Cecil, do solemnly swear
I, Colin Cecil, do solemnly swear
that I possess all the qualifications for the office
that I possess all the qualifications for the office
of code enforcement officer as prescribed by law,
as code enforcement officer as prescribed by law,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri,
provisions of all laws of this state affecting cities of this class, the provisions
the
of all
provisions
laws
of all laws
of this state
of this state
affecting cities of this class,
respecting cities of this class,
and the ordinances of the city of Morehouse,
and the ordinances of the city of Morehouse,
and faithfully demean myself in office.
and faithfully demean myself in office.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You want to sign? You can go ahead and sign it tonight. You go ahead and sign it tonight. Mr.
And I'll
Collins?
give you a copy.
Yeah.
That it?
Well, now we're going to read the ordinance. And put you out, you know I am. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ordinance.
No, hang on just a second. All right, this time I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt bill number 699, an ordinance of the city of Morehouse naming Colin Cecil as the building inspector and code enforcement officer.
Make a motion, okay. Make a motion to, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to,
Uh,
for this ordinance, bill
Well,
number
bill-
699, ordinance.
Bill 699,
Okay.
naming Colin Cecil as city building inspector and code enforcement officer.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to make, for Colin, sorry, Cecil, I had never met you before, for Colin Cecil to be code enforcement officer.
Got a motion on the floor?
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, the clerk will read bill number 699.
Bill number 699, an ordinance of the city of Morehouse, New Medford County, Missouri, empowering the city's building inspector and code enforcer, Colin Cecil, to enforce the ordinance and codes of the city of Morehouse pertaining to the public nuisance. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Aldermen of the city of Morehouse, New Medford County, Missouri, as follows. Section 1. City Building Inspector Colin Cecil is hereby authorized to issue citations for any code violation or violations of any city ordinances pertaining to ownership and maintenance of real or personal property within the city limits of the city of Morehouse, Missouri. Section 2, any ordinance or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Section 3, Section 3, record of passage.
You'll read section 3A.
Bill number 699 is introduced and read the first time on this 19th day of August, 2021.
All right. We can read a ordinance, the first and second reading in the same meeting. We can do the first reading and then we can do the second reading and the ordinance can be voted upon at that time. So at this time, city clerk will read bill number 699 one more time.
Okay. Bill number 699, an ordinance of the City of Morehouse, New Madrid County, Missouri, empowering the city's building inspector and code enforcer, Colin Cecil, to enforce the ordinance and codes of the City of Morehouse, Missouri, pertaining to public nuisance. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Aldermen of the City of Morehouse, in Madrid County, Missouri, as follows. Section 1, City Building Inspector Colin Cecil is hereby authorized to issue citations for any code violation or violations of any city ordinances pertaining to ownership and maintenance of real or personal property within the city limits of the City of Morehouse. Any ordinance or parts, Section 2, any ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict herewith or hereby repealed. Section 3, record of passage. Bill number 699 was introduced and read the first time this 19th day of August 2021. And bill number 699, got to read it.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to pass bill number 699.
I'll make a motion, we pass bill number 699.
Got a motion on the floor to pass bill number 699.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Section 3, Part B, bill number 699 was read the second time on this 19th day of August 2021 and was voted as follows. Alderman Dill, yes. Alderman Dial, yes. Alderman Hodgkins, yes. Alderman Sutton, yes.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the appointment of Gail Childs as a custodian of public records. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we put Gail Childs to be appointed as the custodian.
Got a motion on the floor?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is Laura Roberts, gym rental. For in front of y'all, you'll have a gymnasium rental, usage rules and regulations agreement. Has everyone had a chance to review this? Any questions? Mr. Dan Martinez, would you like to introduce yourself to the board?
Yes, sir. My name is Dan Martinez, and I am a volleyball coach, and I was the one who put together the proposal. I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come speak with you, because the true nature of my intent, I could not put in paper. We rented the gym last year, and out of appreciation, I came and I would like to rent the gym again with a few added conditions. If you noticed, I've made some conditions in there of not just renting the gym, but making some improvements while we rent the gym. I have already met with a certified plumber that is going to help me try to find that leak, if we possibly can, that has created chaos at times. Also, I have a gentleman who is in construction who is going to come take a look at the end of the gym on that one side where the boards are bowed, to see what it would take to get that fixed.
You're talking about on the ball court on the west side.
Yes, exactly. Now, of course, I'm not talking about any major changes, and of course, it will be with authorization only. You know, I don't plan to come in here and make a whole bunch of changes, but what I would like to do is give back for what you did for us, because without the gym, our girls would have had no place to play volleyball. And even now, with schools starting up and clubs starting up, gym space is very limited. And you have a gym here that if you have an individual that not only will take care of it, but will also volunteer to show their appreciation by making a few minor improvements, that will go a long way. As my proposal stated, we're willing to pay $5 a night, 3 nights a week for 2 teams. That's $120 a month that we're willing to pay for use of that gym. It doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that's added money coming into Morehouse. Now, a couple other things I put on there that we will keep it clean. If you go over to the gymnasium now, you will see a Tupperware bin with a bunch of cleaning supplies that we brought over there. I know I have swept and mopped that gym floor several times myself. We're willing to keep the bathrooms clean. So I am asking for your consideration in allowing us to rent the gym again, and I believe in the proposal it was for 2 months. It was from the beginning of September to the end of October. It may have been longer. I'm getting old, losing my memory.
Yeah, it just states
States the day,
the,
not the
the
dates.
the days and the
Okay.
times. It does not give a starting and ending.
It would be the beginning of September until the end of October. And that would give you time to see if I'm a man of my word and do what I say I'm going to do. And at that time, maybe I can submit another proposal for a longer period of time. But I wanted you guys to have an opportunity to see if I was going to do what I say I'm going to do. So that is my proposal, and I'm thankful you guys listen to me. And there's one added condition. This is not solely for my volleyball team. This is for any girl in Morehouse that wants to learn volleyball. I don't know if you have anybody over here that teaches girls volleyball or over there in Sykeston, but this is for any girl that wants to play, that wants to learn the game. I have coached Amelia for a couple of years, and her mom knows I have coached for about 6 years now. I've coached YMCA, I've coached club volleyball. Matter of fact, my daughter plays for Sykeston High School, and I'm willing to take any girl that's interested from this community to be a part of our team and learn a sport in a manner that's not expensive. These club volleyball up in Cape and SSC, you cannot get on the court without paying $1,035. Pursuit volleyball costs $1,300. Do you know how much they paid for our club volleyball last year for our summer league? $30, and that was just for the jersey. Because we fundraised on our own because we wanted a cost that's affordable to parents. I don't know about you, but I can't pay $1,000 for every one of my kids that wants to play something. So that was my proposal. That's why I made my proposal. And I thought it was only fair and appropriate to add the conditions to try and improve where we're at for use of the gym. And like I said, it's not going to be tearing down the building and rebuilding it, but there would be nothing that I would do that would not receive authorization first. So with that, I want to thank you for listening to me, and
Well, Mayor and I met with you back in July, and you had made the proposal then that you biggest thing that we, see is looking at the cost that it costs the city to pay the electric. And obviously we couldn't afford to pay anybody to come in and, a city employee to turn on the water and those kind of things. But $5 a night is really, really cheap. And we kind of are going in the hole on that. Initially, we agreed to it because we thought, hey, these are kids in our community that want to play ball, and we want to offer the opportunity for kids to play ball. But I think we may, if we decide to go with the contract, we're going to have to take another dollar amount.
Mr. Dan?
I agree. I mean, we said to look at the cost, we said to look at the cost of what the electricity was, before running it and after running it, just the time that they're in there for those few hours, and it quadruples.
Mr. Dillon?
I agree.
Anything else you'd like to add? Ms. Bobby? So, as we spoke before, those lights are not energy efficient in that gymnasium. And $5 a night, it's costing more than that, just electric for turning the lights on. I know it wasn't your club, it was another club that was, there was 2 separate contracts back in the spring. And they was utilized, they turned on the air conditioning when that was not part of the agreement. So that kind of, it soured me, and I know it soured a couple of other board members. So like Ms. Gabby said, the $5 a night is just not going to work.
He's saying $5 for 2 teams, though, so it's $10 a night, right, Dan?
$10.
Yeah, it's gonna end up being $60, $30 a week. So the end cost for the month is gonna be $120 at $5 a night for 2 teams for 3 nights a week. But I can understand what you're saying. $5 is a low figure, and I do have the authority from the other coaches, my assistant coaches, that we will go higher if that is necessary, because the last thing we want to do is add a burden to the city. Now, we are willing to go as high as you need us to go to break even as far as electricity goes, because that's only fair. If it's us that's increasing the electricity monetary obligation, it's only fair that we pay for that. So I am in agreement that if it is low and it helps your cost, we are willing to go higher to accommodate the added cost that you guys are taking on. That way you don't have any extra expenditure. So,
Understood. What do y'all feel?
If we charge $20 a night, I kind of figured it up, that's $240, and, we could offer a bit of a discount. What if we did $200 a night, just flat?
For the set, the three nights a week, 2 hours each night. How does the rest of the board feel?
I think that's fair.
It will cover our costs.
Sir?
I just had a question. What about if someone gets hurt, liability insurance?
Y'all carry insurance.
all our girls are required to carry insurance through Gateway USA V Volleyball. They cannot play with us unless they are insured through Gateway. They pay $50 to be insured, so there will be no liability in regards to Morehouse or anything that happens there.
That's also written in the contract.
Yeah, that was all signed on the previous contract.
And for that matter, all the coaches are also insured through Gateway.
So,
It might give these kids an opportunity to get off the streets and get, and do something
agree.
with their life.
I agree. And that's a good thing that Mr. Dan's doing. Mr. Dan, that also includes that you will personally be responsible for turning the water on and off.
Absolutely,
And are you speaking for both teams when you
absolutely.
state that?
I'm speaking for both teams. I will be here to turn the water on and off, so you don't have to do it, your dad don't have to do it. And I will do it until we find this leak and get it fixed, because I already have a gentleman that told me where we need to start, and he's gonna come out with me, and we're gonna find the leak. I'm just praying that it's not underneath concrete somewhere.
You and me both.
But I do take that accountability to turn the water on and off.
If the board wants to motion that at the $200 a month.
Well, we would have
Well,
to,
it will have to be amended. We're not
Yeah.
gonna sign this.
Yeah.
When are you wanting to start?
The beginning of September.
Because
So-
our regular monthly board meeting is the second Monday in September.
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
That's when we'll be able to vote.
well, I think they want, or they want to start before then.
Can we not vote on it tonight and have Mr. Dan sign this later?
Yeah, the contract would have to be amended to reflect the flat rate, $200 a month.
Yeah, I can amend that
We can
proposal.
vote
Have the contract.
to have a contract that's coming into effect.
I'll entertain the motion.
Are you,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry. $200 a month, are you agreeable with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It would cost us $60 a night to rent a space at Cape Sports Place. So that is still,
Okay. Okay, so I make a motion, sorry, that we accept the contract from Sykeston Explosion, SEMO Spikers for rental agreement of $200 per month for 3 nights a week at 2 hours each night for the month of September and October. Is that covered all?
Have a motion on the floor. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. And if you want to resubmit the contract, we'll sign, city clerk, that kind of thing.
I can do revisions tomorrow, and I can email the board tomorrow if that's all right, even though it's not going to take place until the next meeting. I mean, that's fine, I can do that.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is lawnmower repair. The transmission on the right-hand side of the Dixie Chopper riding mower is out. Everybody has the quote in front of them. It's invoice number $36,614. Everybody had a chance to look at that?
$36,014.
Oh, is that what I said? I said invoice number, I threw dollars on the end of it.
Fine. I'm like, I don't see that.
We got problems with that.
I didn't even think about just buying a whole new tractor. I mean,
So you can see 4 hours of labor at $70 per hour. The transmission is $1,350. Then shop materials, $395. Pickup delivery fee, $15. Sales tax, $125.92. For a total of $1,774.87. So what the board needs to decide on is repairing this mower. It's 2017 model, which, as you can see, the grass never stops growing. And another thing to take consideration, if we don't decide to do this repair, we're not gonna get anything out of it. We're taking a chance. I asked the gentleman if the left-hand side drive transmission was in good shape, and he said yes. So, we're taking a chance at spending $1,774.87 to fix the right-hand side drive transmission. But a new mower is $9 grand. So, well, essentially, I think we need to just take the chance, replace the transmission on the right-hand side, and then try to look at budgeting next year for a new mower.
Does this come out of road?
Pardon?
Does this come out of road?
Well, the repairs,
I don't know.
well, it could be split. It could be split because use the mower to mow the lagoon, use it to mow the water plant.
It's water and
Water in general is where it needs to come out.
We got any other estimates? Or is this it?
They're who we bought the mower from, they're the authorized repair dealer. They're the ones who come pick it up.
That's what you get into the commercial mowers and stuff. If they're the authorized dealer, you're probably not going to get
It's not under warranty then, is it?
No, it's a 2017 model.
No.
The board have anything else?
What's the brand of it?
Dixie Chopper.
Okay.
Does the board have any other questions or comments?
I still had a couple of questions. I wasn't quite done, pardon me.
I didn't call on you, sir.
Yeah, but you acknowledged me and I wasn't quite done, so.
Okay.
But anyway, no, that's fine, you continue, pardon me.
So, does the board have anything else regarding this? Do y'all have any other options, opinions of what we should do?
At this point in time, I think, you know, we're needing to get the mower repaired. We've got to have a mower to take care of business here in town. To replace that mower is going to be a minimum, probably 8 to 10 grand, a minimum, to do what we have to do. You can't go to Walmart, you can't go to Lowe's and buy a $2,000 zero turn and take care of the mowing that has to be taken care of here in this town and burn up in a matter of weeks. I mean, that's fact.
Mr. Dale?
Comment?
Yeah?
No?
Okay. Well, at this time, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we pay this $1,774.87 to fix the mower.
Out of, are you
Out
splitting
of
it?
water and general, water, sewer, and general fund, splitting it. Sorry.
So would you need? So split 3 ways, so we would say.
No, water, sewer. is
Water and
one.
sewer, well, water and sewer, I was thinking streets. Never mind.
Sorry.
That's okay, okay.
Have a motion on the floor?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is an estimate from Co-Equipment for sewer jetter hose, half-inch 400-foot hose, a half-inch by 10-foot leader hose, and a nozzle penetrator. This is for the sewer jetter. Mr. Ben and Bobby were using the sewer jetter last week to clear out a main blockage, and the old hose on there ruptured. When Mr. Marty came and picked up the sewer jetter last year, he stated at that time that number one, the hose that was on there was not a sewer jetter hose, it was hydraulic hose, which is steel braided hose, which adds a lot of weight to the hose reel. An actual sewer jetter hose is nylon braided, so it's a lighter weight hose. I emailed y'all last week different pricing on hoses. And I actually, after speaking with Mr. Dial, phoned Marty back, and he said that this hose it's a 4,000 PSI working pressure and has a 12,000 PSI burst pressure. He said it's the best hose you can get for a sewer jetter. So this could be purchased out of capital improvement. All the repairs on the sewer jetter are out of capital improvement. So, or it could come out of water and sewer. But as we stand now, our sewer jetter, the hose is busted.
Which is the most fiscal way to pay for this, would it be better for us to take it out of?
I would rather just take it out of water and sewer.
Well, that's what I was thinking about, what we looked at before. Yeah, I agree.
Do we have
We
some,
have that.
Ma'am?
I know this isn't a regular meeting, but do we have any financial information on what we have?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for general,
Well, this wouldn't come out of general. This would come out of
Right.
water and sewer. With the bills that were paid today, there's currently right now, none of the checks are clear, but there's $29,083 in water and sewer. And I spoke with Ms. Jill, and there's about $3,000 in checks that have not cleared, so that would bring us down to $26,000 in water and sewer.
and capital, what was that?
It's a little over 100.
Okay.
Any questions? Ms. Sutton? Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we pay the co-equipment quotation, our quote, 5275 in the amount of $1,350.88 for a sewer hose out of water and sewer account.
Have a motion on the floor?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any other business? I have a few things and then we'll move on down the list. Code books. Mr. Colin Cecil, in your package was this paperwork here that Mr. Colin looked up prices. Our code books are 2006 edition.
It's in here somewhere.
So there's different options. And Mr. Collin, if you would like to explain off your list there.
Okay. Mayor Alderman, I've been code enforcement officer for City of Morehouse for about 15 minutes, and now I'm going to ask for some money. When I met with Joe the other day, I noticed the code books are 2006 edition, like you said, and there's only like 2 or 3 there in the library area, the bookshelf, whatever. There are, like Joe said, there are options. You can buy books individually. You can buy books as a set. The minimal set that we really need in order to prepare for the future, if we ever get a roads or a truck stop or something out here along the highway, we're gonna need the building code book, and we're gonna need other books that go along with that reference. And that way it will bring us up to current gear. You're not gonna find an architect anywhere around that's gonna design anything by the 2006 edition. So therefore, you can't really inspect by that because nobody's going to design it the 2006 edition. There's an inspector collection, 2018 edition, which is $5.99 plus the other books that would need to go along with it to make it a complete set for the code office. Would be $786.45. Now there is a complete collection of 15 books, but there's a lot of those books that I don't even use where I'm at now, and I've never used them over Sykeston. So the inspector collection is the minimum of books. And like I said, it's $786.45 for all the books that would need to go along with that. Now for temporary, to get me kind of on the ground with my feet running, we could purchase just the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code book, which that is a standard for existing buildings, junk and trash, derelict vehicles, tall grass, other things that go along with existing buildings. That book is somewhere right around $60.
Is that the Code and Common 2018 IPMC?
Yes, International Property Maintenance Code commentary. How much is it?
$66.75.
Okay. That would be just a bare bones start right there. We wouldn't want to stop. We wouldn't want to just stop right there. We'd want to continue on and acquire other books, whether it be down the road get the set that I mentioned, or buy what's in the set a book at a time. However the board agrees or sees fit is how that can go about getting those books for the Code Enforcement Office in the City of Morehouse.
Colin, do you prefer the hardbound, or do you prefer the electronic version, or is there a choice?
Either one's fine. I have the electronic version where I'm at now. It was a download. You would think that the download would be somewhat cheaper, and it is somewhat cheaper, but not near like you'd think just transferring it via internet. But a hard book, something I can physically hold in my hands, that's really the way I like to review the code. But I've got, like I said, a digital version of it now where I'm at, so either one's fine. This price is based on a softbound book. They make a loose leaf version, those are more expensive, but this is a softbound version of the books.
That's something, Mr. Collin, we discussed there in the office the other day, our books being out, and that we did not have the property and maintenance
Correct.
book at all.
Right.
And for getting started, property and maintenance is what we're going to be looking at.
Yeah, the reason you all asked me to come over, that's the book that is key right out of the gate. Need that first and foremost.
The $66.75.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions?
If we purchase these a book at a time as we need fit, I mean, you can't control what their price is going up.
Correct.
But it shouldn't cost the city any more to purchase an individual as to purchase like the four books here in this deal that you have selected out.
I've never really priced them that way. I've always priced them at whatever the minimum set is I need,
Right.
and then add a book or two to complete what I'm needing.
And I guess that's what I'm looking at here, because you've got the individual prices on them. So I'm assume that if we order a book at a time, whether it be, you know, a week apart or 6 months apart, that there's going to be an increase other than what?
Well, now the individual, if you're looking at where it's got two here,
Well, I'm looking here where you've got the inspector collection, and then it has at $7.99, then it has, the IPMC and the IFC and the legal aspects.
those are books that are not part, I need the inspector collection plus those.
Oh, plus those books, okay.
Yeah,
So
those
that's-
are, you would think in the inspector collection, they would have all those books. For whatever reason, the code council doesn't do it that way.
Well, I understand that. I understand you gotta have these individual
Right,
books.
but it's
What
the
I'm saying is, if for right now, saying for everybody listening, right now, cause you said the, IPMC, 2018 IPMC, that is what you have to have to run our ordinance.
The one book. Yes.
The one book.
Yes.
So if we purchase that, for you to have that being intact and start doing what you need to do, then these others could be purchased
Yeah,
later
yes,
down the road.
I'm following you, yes.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Now, it's one of those things that, Darren, you don't want to, I'm not saying they have to be bought in a week or two, the other ones. But, you know, you never know when something
Exactly.
might start
Yeah.
looking at town.
Exactly.
A Family Dollar or something else. So you wouldn't want to wait for the other ones to be purchased when you got something coming to town, because then you've got to go through the adoption process. I've got to write an ordinance for that adoption.
Right.
And that kind of thing, so.
Right. Yeah, and I had, that wasn't my intention when I was trying to explain. I was just wondering, at this point in time, if we could get this and then at a later date, not waiting until something comes.
Right, that's fine, but I just want to make sure all the board knew that it's one of those things you don't want to wait until you have to have it, because then you're holding up the project, very possible.
Any other questions? Is this something y'all wanna talk about some more? You wanna go ahead and get the International Property
I'd
Maintenance
say
Code
we-
book?
I would say go at the International Maintenance Code book and then look to
Kind of table the other.
table the others
Okay.
until we, you know.
Sounds good. Well, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we purchase the 2018 IPMC for the cost of $66.75 for our code enforcement.
Have a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Next item I have here is, about a month and a half ago, we sent 3 pumps that was over at the water plant. They're chemical feed pumps. It's a pre-chlorination pump for well 1, pre-chlorination pump for well 2, and the post-chlorination pump. 2 Stenner pumps. They're the company who manufactured the pumps. The pumps were out, and when Vanderventer was down, they changed out those pumps. So the engineer put me in contact with the gentleman down at Stenner. He wanted us to ship the pumps to him. He would base, looking up the serial numbers, if they were still under warranty. Well, the pumps are not under warranty, so, oh yeah, of course not. So for pump number, last 4 serial number is 9947. It's $165.61 to repair it to factory new. For pump number, last 4 serial is 9949. It's $158.61 to get it factory new. And last 4 serial number 9952 is $158.61 for a total of $482.83 to get all 3 of the pumps factory new again. And each pump has its own, and it details what was wrong with each pump.
What was the, because I'm not adding up here.
165.60.
Okay.
For last four cell number 9949, and then for last four cell number 9952 was 158.61 for that pump. A new pump is $1,100 to $1,200, and we do not currently have a spare. So, just throwing that out there. Let the board decide if you'd like to get these pumps repaired for a total cost of $482.83 for the 3 pumps.
Has to be done, so I make a motion that we pay it $482.83.
Have a motion on the floor. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Next item, under any other business I have is Heartland Environmental. There's a quote here for them. Looks like when Missouri Rural Water here was here with their wastewater side, they come out and checked out the lagoon, and I guess the board knows, and some of the members of the audience that's present know, we're in enforcement from last year, 2020, for our lagoon, not meeting our discharge numbers. It's our E. coli discharge that's in our wastewater permit. So, Mr. Donald Jones with Missouri Rural Water put me in contact with Heartland Environmental, and they're from outside of Kansas City. It took a couple months to get them down here. They came down, took some samples, they measured our sludge, correct, Ben? Yes, sir. And worked up this estimate of what it would cost to treat our lagoon using pails. If we do not get our discharge numbers under control, then DNR will force us to bring in an on-site generator where they grow this bacteria on-site and inject it into the lagoon. And it's very expensive, $60,000, $70,000. So this is the initial inoculation is 20 gallons at $38 a gallon for a total of $760. That's for the E. coli, and then there's an inoculation dose for denitrification, 20 gallons at $38 a gallon for $760. And then maintenance dosage of the E. coli, that's 5 gallons weekly for 12 weeks at $38 a gallon. That total comes to $2,280. And then a maintenance dosage of denitrification, 5 gallons weekly for 12 weeks at $38 a gallon. That as well is $2,280 for a total of $6,080. And I had Mr. Bennett come in tonight. If the board has any questions. Did you bring the paperwork in that what our E. coli permit allows? The average on our E. coli discharge?
That's the last few months of testing.
Okay.
We're going to see fecal, which is our E. coli. We're running 24/20, and that's been consistent every month before we're pumping out the lagoon. Permit is 1,030
weekly. And we're permitted for 1,030, and we're running 24.
So, because I don't know enough about, water and sewer. So, can you explain to the board and to the community, how long this has been going on, how before that, you were at Essex, and so you've been doing this for a while. So can you maybe explain it to us a little?
Well, our kill lights come out, and we're mandated to keep certain numbers. And we've had violations, we've been getting them in the mail. We've got to do something with it till 2025, they're going to come in and make us do disinfection. It's going to be chlorine, UV bolts to take care of E. coli. If we can start now and get it under control, there's bylaws we want to have to set up, for chlorination or UV, which is going to be $50,000, $100,000. Pretty expensive. These right here is basically going to get our E. coli down. It's not nothing special, but we've got to get it under control. That's all we can do.
Okay, Ben, on these chemical deals here, I understand the inoculation dosage, the maintenance dosages, 5 gallons weekly for 12 weeks. Now, once those 12 weeks are up, do we just redo again? Go out
We'll be
again?
an initial shock. That's where the expensive part is. That maintenance is what I'll be doing weekly or monthly. And once we start getting numbers coming back, we get down to where we need to, we can adjust.
You know,
So
just
it may be
down, so
cheaper.
we're not using so much.
Yes, sir. Right now, we just gotta get it.
So this is basically getting us down, should be getting us down to about where we need to be, and then we can adjust out and see what we're gonna have to maintain once we get down to that.
Just initial shock to get the bugs in there, we need to get going. And he's also gonna provide us we're using a dry powder right now, Trisol.
Right.
Only percent, I'd say probably maybe 80% is what we're gonna get out of them. We're gonna use the liquid, which will be 100%. So
Right.
we're getting good bugs. And he's got a good one for us. And he's a trusted guy.
Yeah, this gentleman, this company, they actually manufacture, they grow the bacteria that we need. So you're fighting bacteria, good bacteria, bad bacteria, to meet our discharge numbers. Is there any other questions the board has? Ben?
I guess I'm still a little confused about, like, how we got here, to where we're discharging so much E. coli, the bacteria.
Died out, the
Yeah.
weeds and stuff, it was way, way out of shape currently. Before I even came here, there was trees growing and stuff like that.
Right.
And we just didn't know up to it. It's like I said, the tank we had ready to do it.
So this has been ongoing for, what would you think if you had to guess?
More paperwork I can see has been happening. I seen some last year, but prior to that, I'm sure it happened.
And this is something that we can think over. Y'all want more input? I provided Alderman Hotchkiss with some phone numbers. Bo Higgins and BJ from Heartland Environmental, I gave her their phone number. They did state that they got Bertrand's. Bertrand was having the same issue that we're having, and that they got Bertrand's numbers under control. So these are just,
Are there any other resources? As far as people that we can reach out to help other communities, or just getting buying the chemicals or buying the bacteria that I guess, I don't, yeah.
No, we just need to get some chemicals on there, get some bugs back in there. We've got it looking pretty good now, it's kind of going in the right
Got the
path.
trees down and,
This thing. I said 2025, if we can meet our call now and keep it going for a couple of years, at 2025, the bylaw, we're going to come up with $100,000 for disinfection. So we just keep putting in buckets, nothing maintenance.
have any questions, Ben?
He already answered it.
Mr. Dill?
thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Here's your report.
So do y'all want to table this, think it over, make some phone calls on your own? Pardon me?
other solution besides what you guys have already stated, that it's gonna cost $50,000 or $100,000 down the line if we don't take care of it now.
Take care of it now, get it under control. We can either get it under control now, and do regular maintenance on it monthly like, should have been done, or we can wait down the road, not have it under control and get hit with $100,000.
But, and another thing is, DNR's been very forgiving
Yeah.
and working with us because they know that we've been working on getting things taken care of. And with us already being enforcement from things not getting addressed back in 2020, they could come in and start finding us.
Well, my thing is, with this whole thing, the more that we're showing them that we're working toward making good on where we're supposed to be at, it makes them back off of us a little bit. I'm not gonna say they're gonna say, but, they're backing off of us. They're not pushing, they're not pressuring us.
I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's a pale of what it could be.
Well, you're looking at $6,000 and a monthly maintenance from there on out. Ben stated, once we get this initial shock and get the numbers down through this, that these numbers will also come down because you won't have to use as many chemicals. So we get it under control and get something that we can budget from then on out, and put to budget. And then we don't get, in 2025, we don't get slammed with, the city doesn't get slammed with a $50,000 to $100,000 system that they're going to want to stick in here. We'll be able to continue to maintain at that point in time. Am I correct or not correct?
I've got the violations here. I've had interest these in all of the years. There's a violation over there. Yeah, hard enforcement, I'll make.
These were sent out in March.
I personally would like to see us have a budget meeting and finances and see where we are financially before I personally make a decision on it. I can abstain and you guys can go ahead and vote if you feel so compelled. I personally just feel like I'd like to see where we are financially before we. I mean, and then we, like I said, we could vote on it in a timely fashion, but just get a better idea of where we are fiscally. Just because it is such a chunk of money, I want to be a good steward of the city's money. And I'm not saying that we don't need it, but I want to know where we are before this project.
I'd just like, I guess it's all right, publicly on this.
Yeah.
This is a matter of public record. According to these records right here, and this is as far back as these records go, we have been in violation of these E. coli numbers going out since at least April of 2020. So, you're way over a year ago that we were already receiving reports that we were not up to code on these, so.
And another thing I'd like to point out to the public is Alderman Dillon and I both sat on this board as aldermen and never knew that we were in enforcement from DNR. It wasn't until I got sworn in as mayor that I became aware of it. And DNR has been very patient with us, so
Question.
take that into consideration. Yes, ma'am.
So, with the violations, even though that you try to correct them, they can still violate you, and it's still gonna cost us money, so why not just go ahead and
Well, the violations come in when we don't meet our discharge number. That's when you get the violation.
Right.
And when you go so long, then you come what's called enforcement phase.
Yeah, that's my point. We've been so long into it, and we've been in this violation for this long period. And let's say that we're trying to correct it, but we're not getting anywhere, because we haven't, because we're still in violation. Why not just, do what we need to do and avoid them coming in and finding us? Because even though we're trying to correct it, there's still a 50-50 chance. It's like throwing the dice on the table and saying, okay, come on, 7, and they can still come in and find the city.
Yes, DNR has the option to fine us per day. And if that were to happen, this amount we're looking at right here is going to seem very minute.
That same guy, though, they can come down and put a system in.
Yeah, DNR will force this company to come in and put a one-site generator down at 60 or 70 grand. So I agree with that we have to be a good steward of the money. I also agree that we need to schedule a budget meeting. We need to schedule that meeting tonight. And I've emailed Gabby the books from MML on the budgeting. I have the books, Alderman Dill has them, I can forward them to you. You probably already have them, or do you want the newest one? Okay, the newest one. So, this is up to the board. If you want to motion it out and do this, or if you want to take a chance and not, that's up to y'all. But it's my recommendation that we move forward with, as we just discussed, paying this and getting Heartland Environmental down here to treat this.
Well, I agree we need to be good steward of the city's money, but by doing this and taking care of this problem, I feel that we are being good stewards of the city's money. But you're looking at a $6,000 cost now versus a $60,000 or $70,000 cost down the road that could be avoided. That's where I stand.
Me too. Anything you'd like to add? Mr. Dill? Bobby? No, I'll entertain a
Man,
motion.
that's backwards.
I was just gonna, y'all know what he call out is, Craig.
Anything you'd like to add, Ben?
Hey, Ben, can you go ahead and explain what it is for the public?
Cheaper than beef, and the downstream users into the ditch. That's what I'm gonna do. Or if it ain't good,
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we accept the Heartland Environmental Distributors proposal for $6,080 for the remediation of the E. coli.
Have a motion on the floor.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
I'm gonna abstain right now.
Motion carries. The final thing I have here is, I know it's been talked about in the past, Alderman Dill had motioned it several years back, and these are 2 sample ordinances that the board can decide to move forward on. Think about, I sent y'all an email that come from MML that stated the pros and cons of keeping an elected city marshal or putting it on the ballot and having the residents of the town vote whether they want to keep electing a chief of police or if it passes a vote of the people, then it can become an appointed position. It's getting harder to find law enforcement officers. Every community's having the same struggle. And when you have small cities like ours, we have a difficult time competing with the larger communities that pay sign-on bonuses, have 401ks, things of that nature. So, you know, one of the things that was said in the past when this was merely discussed was this was taking away the people's right to choose. But what they didn't tell you was this cannot be done unless the residents of this town vote to move it from an elected position to an appointed position. It has to go for a vote of the people. If the board decides to move forward, it would have to go on the ballot. The residents of this town would come up here and they would get the say of whether to keep voting in a chief of police or city marshal, or it be a higher, just like we take applications for a lot of other positions. And this is just, we're just in a discussion phase here. So these are just sample ordinances sent from the municipal league that other communities or somebody had wrote them up. One was for if you want to keep electing a city marshal, and the same for a city collector. Those are the two ordinances that we're talking about. And these are just sample ordinances. So I just wanted to bring it up before the board and the public and see what the board thinks.
I think this is, for myself, setting the table, we want something to digest, maybe talk to people in our community that we represent, what are their thoughts, what are their feelings on it. I wouldn't want to make a decision without talking to, you know, people that live here and, you know, what they have to say. For myself, I would.
Good. Anybody else?
When's the last day that we can get it on the November ballot?
I would have to check with Mr. Clement down at the county. Mr. Bell?
Well, my concern is getting the information out to them. Like Kathy said, we're looking at a community here that anyone who's lived here for a while or all their life, all they've ever seen is elected official for the posts.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to get the information out so that they understand that we're not up here trying to take away their rights as voting citizens. We're giving them the opportunity to either stay the course as what we're doing or moving forward to a different style of, you know, law enforcement and such. Mayor made the comment that it's getting hard to hire police officers, especially for small towns. Well, you gotta realize it's getting harder our ordinance state that the city marshal has to live within the town. It's getting harder to find people who are qualified to do these jobs that are willing to stay in these small towns and live, you know, or to move to these small towns, you know, and be elected. Whereas if we hire someone, they don't necessarily have to live inside the city limits. They can be localized where, you know, and then the city gets a little bit more, I'm not going to say leniency, we're able to work with scheduling and stuff like that to make things more possible. We don't have a situation where we got someone elected in here and they are literally running themselves ragged because they're the ones who gets phone call every 5 minutes, you know. if you got, someone hired in, there's a way of working around their scheduling so that we're taking care of stuff. Stuff's getting taken care of. You can work with the county and stuff like that so that when they're off duty, we've got coverage here in town, or should have coverage here in town. I'll put it that way.
And this is just a discussion phase.
Exactly.
You know, let the board think about it, talk amongst the people.
I'm with Gabby and Alderman Deal down here. I think that it would not be a bad idea to table this till we find out when our date, last date that we can get put on the ballot, have a chance to talk to some people, and we have an opportunity to come up and say, you know, well, this is what I'm getting a feel off of.
Yeah, because there's pros and cons to it. Either way you go, there's pluses and negatives. So that's been tabled. That's all I have for my any other business. Alderman Dill? Alderman Sutton? Alderman Don? Alderman?
I wanted to bring up, the park board meeting is originally scheduled for tonight, and, but then we had to have a special session, and so the mayor, we need to have a session tonight, get this business taken care of. So, Brianna, has moved the meeting to tomorrow night at 6:30 here in the same, so if anybody is interested, being on the park board or even just helping out, it's gonna be held tomorrow here at 6:30. And then also, when are your regular schedule? Let's announce that too, because there'll be some.
Regular, as long as it doesn't counteract, if I go up to your calendar, it is the first Thursday, and then it's every other Thursday after that till fall.
It's the first Thursday of the month.
And it's every other Thursday after that, so it's 2 weeks.
Okay.
And that is till fall fest.
So tomorrow there'll be a meeting at 6:30, and then on the 20th, and then the next one would be September the 2nd, right? All right, at 6:30 also. If anybody's interested in joining the park board and working on fall festival things that are going on, I just wanted to throw that out there.
You got anything else? Okay. One thing I did have in my notes is, ma'am, I don't remember your name.
Susan.
Miss Susan here, the leak at the housing authority is directly in front of her unit. I did go down and speak to Mr. Donnie and Mr. John the other day. I went up to the water plant. We had two separate sets of blueprints. They're both dated 1981, and Ben found another set of prints, and Mr. Donnie has a set of prints. So I took the blueprints that Ben had found down to the housing authority and spoke to Donnie and compared the two. The set of prints that Donnie has is at the as-built. They're the final record of drawing for the housing authority. I don't know if you were here last month at the regular monthly board meeting when the board did vote to rent an excavator and a trailer to take down there. We're having some issues with our backhoe. So we have that, and Midwest Meter the leads on our locator. That's how we can look, where Ben can look in the ground and see where, find the tracer wires where the lines are ran. The leads have been spliced and they're not working properly. So Mr. David Vaughn from Midwest Meter has us a set of leads ordered, and he come over. He was in town yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, he was in town yesterday and said that he's expecting those to be in Monday. And if they come in Monday, he'll personally deliver them to us. We can get down there and do some locating, because there's 28 tacks for that small area, and it's a spider web of service lines running all down through there. So hopefully when the leads come in, we can get down there and do our locates then we can schedule to go get the excavator and get started. We'll have to excavate and see what materials we're gonna need, caps, because we're just gonna, those lines were taken out, should have been taken out of service because there's no taps that they're feeding anymore. Because when they did the water project, they did a change order down there, and every unit got a new tap off of the 4-inch main that runs between the sidewalk and the street, on Dillon Street. So the old 4 and 2.5-inch line that makes a U around the apartment complex is no longer feeding any of the units.
Just feed your grass.
Yeah, it's beyond saturated, herd.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
don't have a yard
I've been by
that
there and
has
seen it
street.
running.
Yeah. So just wanted to let the public know that. I did attend a meeting today over at Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission. They had their meeting every other month. They had the full meeting. So I went over there and the engineer came by today. So there is grant money available tied to COVID that can be used for park revitalization. So we're going to be working with the engineer and Boot Hill. We'll have to go through the same process that we did for the streets and drainage grant, and you'll have to be a public hearing where the public can come in, ask questions, find out anything they need to know, and then it'll go out for bid for the engineers that would engineer the project. So at that time, I don't have anything else. We'll go to members of the public. Sir? Ma'am? Miss Diane? Miss Jill? Miss Brown? Patty? Sir?
Yes, sir, got a couple things. What's that, on the park board, Brianna, were you appointed or
Yes, it was.
or sworn in or anything like that?
I was appointed by the board. It was in the meeting minutes.
So I guess that's something that I will need to do too, seeing how I'm the vice chair. Is that something that we can do right now?
But we took the favorites, it looked like favoritism. So I had talked about it with Linda, she had talked with Randy, and we had all talked about it. It looks like favoritism. You have people that are appointed to the board. You have Marilyn as alderman, so we switched it to Miss Diane, who has actually been a chairperson. She knows a little more than I do. So we gave it to her, and
Oh, really? When was that done?
it was done the first official meeting.
Okay, gotcha. Is that something that we usually do? Is that something that's been done before?
The park board is its own entity. It's a committee that operates unto itself. But when I was out, it would have been the 29th of June or July. She was the appointment, I do believe,
Because Randy ran the meeting.
when she was appointed
July
as,
9th, because I was gone. Because I tried to look for the minutes today to get you on. You wanted to add a second person to that checking account. I couldn't find them. They've been
Yeah,
approved, but I can't find the minutes anywhere. So, anyway, to add a second person to your account and there's not any minutes. So it's July 9th.
was it July 9th or July 29th?
29. Well, there's
Yeah,
not.
it's special.
They're not, those meetings aren't there.
Yeah.
Meetings aren't there, the meeting minutes are not there either.
Okay, fair enough. One more thing. Like I said, those of you who don't know, my name is Caleb Hodges. I've lived here most of my life. I'm a tax-paying citizen, and I just want to ask the board, just please make sure, we're being a good steward. Not saying that you guys are not, just try to be consciously aware of it. Just for example, that lawnmower deal, Dixie Chopper, they no longer make those. You said it wasn't under warranty. I'm sure there's other places, that are qualified to make those repairs and stuff. And man, just not pick up the phone and make a phone call, we might save ourselves $300. And just want to ask you guys, to do that. I remember back in your alderman days, Joey, when it comes to that money, your eyes got nice and wide, and making sure that we're making good decisions. And I just want to ask you just to continue to have that intensity that you used to back in the day, and everybody else on the board. So.
Well, I will speak to that. I do believe that I have been
And I'm not saying
managing
that
the money pretty well.
Yes, sir.
But,
just pick up the phone, maybe make a phone call and see if we can, at least make an attempt, swing the bat and make it a home run. You got any questions for me or anybody else?
I do not.
Yes, sir.
Sir? You? You got anything?
He said he wants to raise.
Bobby?
No, I haven't.
Ben? Ma'am? Linda?
Yeah, why can't we just appoint a deputy or whatever? I mean, are we just gonna vote on that, or?
No, did you advertise on the Facebook for that?
For the deputy? No, you didn't tell me.
Okay, well, we voted, last month
Okay,
to advertise it.
okay.
I thought those.
I mean, like, taking applications part.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, we're-
Instead of electing them, because it seems like.
Well, see, that's-
For deputy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I misunderstood.
Okay, I don't know.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah.
I guess I misunderstood.
Trying to cause trouble again.
I get it from her.
Ma'am, sir? Mr. Jean?
Thank you, but I don't have anything to say.
All right. Dan?
No, fine.
Sir? Okay, if there's nothing else.
Schedule a budget meeting.
Schedule a budget meeting. What day works for y'all?
Pull one out.
We're having the public hearing scheduled for Monday, August 30th. And we can,
Do it after.
Yeah, budget meeting.
Is that all right?
and then the budget meeting will just be a work session.
Yeah.
It's just a work session.
Okay.
Joe, what's qualifications if someone in Morehouse wants to policing? What's qualifications to send to school or training or whatever?
Beats me.
Well, I know that,
You got Google?
See, I told you she was. Google it. Trouble starting.
It used to be 480 hours. I don't know if it's more
Because I
than
know
that
they
now.
have sent in the past people to go to training to be a policeman and then they get the training, which if they did do that, there should be like a contract saying you have to stay here so long before you go to.
Yes, there's been people win election, cities pay for their training,
So I was just wondering.
and then they go to work elsewhere.
and I've asked about that too. I actually have sought out a couple other deputies or people who work for Scott County and Marion County. And then do, deputy stuff part-time for other little towns and stuff like that. Looking for us, an officer, like, hey, would you be interested? And then I also, and I threw that out. I said, hey, we've elected an official, and I said, and then we paid for them to go to school. And one of the things that was brought to my attention, it was like, the last time we did that as a community, it probably cost about $1,000. Now it's gonna cost about $6,000 for that same schooling education. So I'm just, I'm not saying that we couldn't, but I'm just saying.
I was just asking what the qualifications were.
Right. But, because that's an idea too, it's like if you knew somebody, somebody who's interested in going to law enforcement, and it's like, hey, if you're gonna stick around here, we'll send you to school, those kind of things. Sure. I did ask, like what, on the average people, so like Chappie and Scott City and Benton and, East Curry, other communities, kind of get a ballpark for what they're paying their, officers and that kind of thing. So I would have a feel if we were to kind of share, like, hey, this is what they're offering, this is what they're paying, that kind of thing. So, until we either elected another one or appointed, or whatever was gonna happen, so that we have somebody here locally. So, I've been asking those questions, just trying to, like I said, if you hire somebody or get some young guy or girl or whoever, I don't know, that wants to go to school, then it's like, or some older guy or girl that wants to go to school, whatever the situation is, yeah.
So, tax hearing scheduled for Monday, August the 30th, and then following that at 6:30, and then we're gonna have a work session after. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.